The majority of brands I talk with are running ads the wrong way. The algorithm changes all the time, and it's important that you keep up to date with the changes on each platform so that you're not wasting your marketing dollars. So in today's video, I'm going over how you can spend your marketing dollars in the best way possible. So the first way is by simplifying your ad account. There are several reasons why simplifying your ad account is a good idea for your e-commerce brand. Just recently, Meta announced a new set of best practices, calling them the Meta Performance 5. And as you can probably guess, the first one on the list is officially simplifying your ad account. The first reason why this is crucial is so that you can understand what changes impacted your results. When there are too many variables added or modified, you don't really know what caused the change. For example, if you've been testing out several ads, several offers, you don't really know what impacted your CPA on your business. When you simplify your ad account and make one change at a time, you know exactly what caused the change because you know only one thing was modified. Now, the other reason why you have to simplify your ad account is because of machine learning and AI. Let me explain. When you simplify your ad account, you're basically allocating your budget to fewer assets, meaning each one of your ads will get more spend. And more spend equals more data, which equals more machine learning, which equals AI optimized ads. And when you have optimized ads, that's when your ads get delivered to the right prospects at the right time, which ends up giving you massive amounts of profit in comparison to an ad account that is not simplified. The next way to make sure that you're maximizing your marketing dollars is by understanding the difference between spending versus investing in your ads. When you're running ads on machine learning platforms such as Meta, TikTok, Google, and you make the decision to use interest targeting within your ad sets in order to target your customers, what you're doing is you're spending money on depreciating assets. On the other hand, when you're using broad targeting, meaning you're not using any interest or lookalike audiences, what you're doing essentially is you're investing money on appreciating assets that will only get better over time. This is because when you're using lookalikes or interests, what you're doing is essentially putting boundaries to the platform's AI and machine learning tools because you're only letting them showcase your ads to a select pool of people that, by the way, you subjectively decided to target, and that is not backed by data. If you compare that decision to a decision made by the machine learning AI that is backed with massive amounts of data, the machine is always going to make a better decision than you when you're just choosing by the name of the interest. Now, I know what you're thinking. Oh, lookalikes are going to work because Facebook is just going to find prospects that look exactly like my customers. So that should sell, right? And you would have been right before the year 2020. When iOS 14 happened. After Apple released the iOS 14 update, every iPhone user got asked if they wanted to let each social media app track their data after they clicked on their ads. And as you can imagine, well, we all said no. So that resulted in less post-click data for social media platforms, and they started to rely a lot more on in-platform data. Now, why is this so important? Because lookalike audiences and interests were backed with post-click data. And since that data was no longer there, these audiences started to depreciate, and not only depreciate, but they started to use data that was backed by forecasts and modeling, which was inaccurate data. And that made lookalike audiences a lot less powerful since now they don't have enough data to optimize profitably. Now, on the other hand, by going broad and letting the algorithm do the targeting, you're basically allowing the algorithm to have access to a lot more data, which results in your ads getting a lot better and reaching more audiences accordingly. Now, you might be thinking, but Miguel, if we're not using any lookalikes or any targeting, how are we gonna reach our target audience? Well, I'm glad you asked. This brings me to the next point, which is creatives do the targeting. When you have a simplified ad account and you leverage machine learning and AI, the way to reach your target audience is by creating content that will resonate with this audience. When you leave the interest targeting blank, what you're doing is you're allowing the algorithm to explore a lot more audiences that you might have not been able to reach with your past targeting. Now, the audiences that you reach are gonna be reached based on the audiences that your creatives are attracting. Now, if you have a brand that targets multiple demographics, you might want to consider putting all these demographics within your creatives, because the algorithm is gonna pick those demographics and show these audiences, your creatives, according to what the creative looks like. With this change, you're now expanding your reach and potential customer base, but might not fit within your predefined audience criteria that you would have chosen if you were using interests. And that's why the creatives you give Facebook are going to determine the audiences the algorithm shows the ads to. Now, this is going to make your ads a lot cheaper and a lot more optimized, because they're going to have a lot more data on these new audiences. And not only the data, but these audiences are going to be a lot more scalable than the audiences that you were picking with the interests. This means that these ads will only get better over time, and they will optimize in real time as you start spending more money and more time goes by. This means they become an appreciating asset for your business. So as you start to test creatives on your ad account, you have to make sure that you're testing with a purpose. I'm impressed with how many people in this industry just skip this step entirely and just start testing for the sake of testing. No objective behind it, no hypotheses, no success metrics other than ROAS. It's really important that every offer, every messaging angle, and every creative you test in the ad account is attempting to solve a business problem. For example, let's say that you have an image graphic that is working really well. And based on the frequency and the CPMs on the ad account, you're able to determine that this feels like a bottom of funnel ad. But your other ad, which is a video that introduces your brand to new prospects, that's probably acting as a top of funnel ad, is not really getting the attention you'd like. Thumbs up ratio or hook rate is at 21% and hold rate is at 5%, meaning of all the people who watched the video, only 21% of people were past the 3-second mark, and only 5% of people were past the 15-second mark. Now that will be a reason to create a new test for a creative that target the problem-aware or the solution-aware audience, so that you can fix the bottleneck in the top of the funnel. In that case, you would want to create other creatives that do a better job than the existing top of funnel creative you have, which is probably the bottleneck for all the funnel below it. If this test is successful, you will probably see a apparent incremental lift in your business. With my clients, we use a testing tracker where we document all the hypotheses, success metrics, test dates, and lastly, the conclusions. It's important that you document these things so that your marketing efforts only become better week over week. As you solve one problem at a time, you're going forward one step at a time. Week over week, your business becomes better. Now, one question you might be asking yourself is, but wait, how do I know what to test first? And that is a great question. With my clients, what we do is we use the ICE framework. This stands for impact, confidence, and ease. When you already have a list of tests that are attempting to solve a specific roadblock or bottleneck within your business, you should ask yourself the following. Number one, which test will have the most amount of impact in solving this problem? Number two, which test am I most confident that is going to work? And number three, how easy it is to execute this test. You give each category a score from 1 to 5, and the one with the highest score gets done first. As a quick example, with one of my clients, we created a list of tests that we wanted to execute, and we figured out the one with the best score was changing the price. Changing the price of the products will have a really big impact. We were very confident about this impact, and it was so easy to execute that became the first test. Now, if you're experiencing a plateau with your e-commerce growth, or you need help with your paid ads, schedule a call and I'll be happy to help. I'll take a look at your business and I'll figure out what's stopping your business from growing. And at the end, I will tell you what will put your business in a position to scale. If this sounds like you, schedule a call with me and we'll get you going as soon as possible. Having said that, see you in the next video.